Okay, so I'm just doing a little trap preparation here. I'm going to be dyeing a bunch of traps, some new ones, some old ones. So this 120 LDL here has been used 1 year. What I like to do is, when I buy them new, I like to use them 1 year in the bush, and the oil kind of leaves the trap, so you don't have to worry about getting the oil off of the trap brand new. So I just use them 1 year, and then they kind of dull up and they're ready for dye. But what I do with the traps before I dye these traps, I don't like just the chain on them. I've lost fissure with this chain. Sometimes, you know, when you're in a hurry checking a new area, I'd like to just throw a box on the ground and see how the production is there. If it's good, I'll hang the box in the tree. And if you catch a fissure with an LDL 120 on the ground, it's only happened to me once where I lost the fissure, but once was enough. So what I do is I just count 3 chain lengths. Put a box swivel in here. Okay. Here's my swagger. Just over crimp a little bit to make sure it closes all the way. Count another 3 chain lengths. Okay, there you go. There you go. Now you have a swivel in your chain. So then, since I'm prepping traps anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and set these springs up. So my trap right there, it's ready for dye. And that's what I do. I use box swivels. You can pick up these box swivels for fairly cheap. And you know what? If it saves you a fissure, why not do it? They're really easy to install. Okay, and you just use a swagger to close it up. Alright, so I got a couple traps here. I think I have 2 more milk cartons full. I have these 330s. They're kind of looking kind of raggedy already. The foot traps I'm going to boil, of course, but well, here you can see the difference before and after on my 120s. These traps aren't in bad shape, actually. This is probably the second, some of them might be the 3rd time that I'm dipping them, but that's 2 years. I go every 2, sometimes if I get lazy, I go every 3 years that I'll dip all my traps. So those are freshly dipped traps, and these are 2 years old. So like I said, these aren't bad. Like, I could use them. Well, some guys never dip their traps, but I like a nice black trap. I think they just look good, and you preserve your trap. Your trap lasts longer. But yep, that's what it looks before and after. I got some put away there, ready. Here's a milk carton full left. 1 more 330. Those are done. The ones in the shed are done already. There's another 6 there. So it's coming. We're getting ready for trapping season. One more thing that I'll mention. I had some guys ask me, what kind of traps, if I try different traps, you know, all these type of questions. And my answer was 330s. I like the Belial. I love the safeties. It's a safe trap to use. Those safeties, they stay on. They don't come off when you don't want them to. I love the 330s. I would say anybody that starts trapping with 330s should start with those, simply for the fact of those safeties. But I use, on 330s, I use a number of different traps. I use the big Savages. These aren't the biggest Savages. Those are already dipped. These are the same size, yep. I use LDL Magnums, those there. I use them because I like the big Savages. I use those the most because they're a bigger trap, easier for the animal to go in. But if I find narrow places to put my other traps, I'll put them in. So I have, on the 330s, I have a couple different kinds. On all the other traps, I've tried lots of different traps. I've actually tried, I think, pretty much I think I have every kind of trap that they make. And my preference was, at first, was the 120 LDL Martin trap. The reason I like these at first, the reason I bought them at first was because they fit in my Martin boxes. The Belial and the Savage traps they didn't fit in my Martin boxes that I had out already. But then I started catching animals with these, and I realized the power in them. I mean, I've caught lots of fisher in these. They do the job really good, especially if you have them hanging from the tree. If the fisher, if you get a good catch on that fisher is done for. I mean, I don't target fisher with these traps. I target martin, but like anybody knows, if you're trapping martin, you're going to catch fisher. And so what I like to do is, once I'm using a certain type of trap, that's the only trap I'm going to be using, because they're all the same. I have the same length chain, so all my traps will hang. I know how much wire to put on the tree because of the trap, the chain length. I like to keep everything the same. If I had to do it all over again, if I had to restock all my traps, and if I had to do it all over, I think I wouldn't use the 120 at all. Not that I'm like, I love these traps, they're awesome traps, but I think I would probably go with a 160 trap for everything, for martin and fisher, and then forget about the 220s. I just use 160s because the 160 is a good trap for a martin, it's a good trap for a fisher, and then I wouldn't have to run a 120, a 160, and then I also run some 220s. I just strictly run 160s throughout my whole trap line. That's what I would do if I had to do it all over again. But when I started trapping, that's so many years ago, they didn't even make 160 traps at that point in time. They made a 120, and then they made a 220. So now I'm stocked. I have so many of these traps that if I buy traps, it's always this. If I try to keep everything the same. Makes it easier for me in the bush.